Hello, guys, and welcome to the show this afternoon. Let's get it started. This is, I want to give credit to this story for routers. This is an exclusive story. It just broke today. The story is December 20th, and it's about China. And let's get right started by opening up the charts right here. Exclusive. China has hacked HPE, IBM, and then attacked clients. It's from sources. It says, Washington, London, San Francisco routers. Hackers working on behalf of China's Ministry of State Security breached the network of Hewlett-Packard, IBM, and then user access to hack into clients' computers, according to 5 sources familiar with the attacks. So they got 5 sources that they're quoting here, routers. It says the attacks were part of a Chinese campaign known as Cloudhopper, which the United States, Britain, on Thursday said infected technology services providers in order to steal secrets from their clients. Representatives of Hewlett-Packard Enterprises and IBM said they had no immediate comment. While cybersecurity firms and government agencies have issued multiple warnings about the Cloudhopper threat since 2017, they have not disclosed the identity of technology companies whose networks were compromised. Well, you know what? There's already a trade war going on with China. This is huge. And there's a truce right now, a 90-day truce. We're well into that 90-day truce. Okay, this could have a profound effect on the outcome that happens after the truce expires. And what I mean to say by that is the United States was ready to levy more sanctions, heavier sanctions on China. Now, what effect will this news have on the truce when the truce ends and the United States actually goes back to the bargaining table? The fact that China, well, I shouldn't say the fact, the alleged fact that China has been breaching the networks of Hewlett-Packard and IBM. Okay? So, I mean, Canada might have went out and might have arrested a Chinese executive from Huawei Corporation, you know? But you have to understand, they had probable cause to arrest her. They had reason that, or evidence pointing toward her committing crimes by selling, I guess, breaching the Iranian. I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, you know what she did. Anyway, and they want to, she's in the criminal justice system. And she's awaiting extradition to the United States where she will face these charges in a court. This is following the rule of law, basically. So China now is mad at Canada, and they've detained 3 Canadian citizens. Basically, I don't know, these people are in limbo. These, I guess, 3 that have been detained in China are in limbo. But this whole thing is a mess, and it looks like the mess is going to get a whole lot worse. Meanwhile, we're in the middle of a lot of people thought this was a correction in the stock markets. This went beyond the correction now. Now we're starting to see the results of the draining of liquidity out of the system. Think of the liquidity like a pool of water. And it's awfully hard to judge, like if you were pumping out a swimming pool. Say your husband went out to pump out the swimming pool, right? And he put a pump on. The pump was pumping so much out and pumping, and he says, oh, it'll probably take an hour. It's just a guess, right? He comes back an hour later, and it's only down a foot. He says, well, honey, it's really going to take 3 more hours. I misjudged it. Well, that's the way with me. I saw the liquidity draining out of the system by the Fed, and I figured that it would drain enough liquidity out of the system by about August or September to start this ball rolling down the hill. But it took a little bit longer than I thought. But now the ball's just starting to roll down the hill. It's not really rolled down the hill yet. Really, it's still up at the top. The ball's still up at the top. It's just rolled a few feet down the hill. But it could easily gain momentum as the Fed draws more liquidity out of the system. And as they continue to raise interest rates. They're still talking about 2 rate hikes next year. Are these people out of their mind? The system can't take 2 more rate hikes. It barely took this one. You see the results? I mean, if they're cutting off all the sources of money. It's a no-brainer what's going to happen. You know? And people have been chasing yield for years, and there's money in the stock market, and I'll teach you how to do it too. You know? But what they don't realize is they made all that money in the stock market back when they would buy on the dip, and it would go up higher than ever, and then they'd make money. And everybody made money, and everybody was having fun because the Fed was just whooshing this money around left and right, 0% interest rates, and oh my gosh, it was a time to make money, wasn't it? But now these people out there, they're the same bunch of people who pump real estate and tell you you can make a fortune in real estate. All you got to do is go out and buy these houses and flip them. That's over too. Don't even try it now. You could have went back 5 years in the past and started trying that, and you might have made out pretty good flipping houses. Quite seriously, and they made out pretty good, and they're all crowing about it, saying, "Oh, look, we made all kinds of money flipping homes." It's over. Try it now, and you're going to lose your shirt. Same way with the stock market. Everything is because, honest to gosh, they've drained all the liquidity out of the system. It's like a person who's got a terrible, say they lost their foot and they're walking around town with the blood draining out of their foot. You know what's going to happen. They start to turn pale and white from loss of blood. That's the system. The liquidity in the system's like blood. And the vampire of the Fed is draining it all out. So now we're finally getting to the point where the system is getting ready to fall over and collapse from loss of blood, basically, because the vampires drained it all. I mean, honestly, people can't see this happening, but the Fed's going to have to stop. Because the Fed is going to be on the line for this. They are going to be on the line for this. They're going to be looked at as responsible for what's happening. And if they don't turn it around, well, what can I say? They better pack their bags and run for the hills if they don't turn this thing around. So you know what? Do you know that they are? They're a bunch of cowards. They're a bunch of, you know, they're going to turn it around. They're not going to take the penalty for this. They're going to turn it around. They're going to try to turn it around in a way that they look like heroes. Oh, look, we saved the day again. We came in and made a whole bunch of new money. And all you people, aren't you happy now? Praise the Fed. You know, this is the sort of thing that's going on. So this new attack, this is brand new today, exclusive from Reuters. China has got themselves in more trouble. So what else is new? I mean, the Chinese, I knew that they were up to something. They're up to a lot. They got this, what they call manifest destiny, and they want to expand out, and they want, really, seriously, they've been accumulating gold because they want to make a gold-backed yuan. And they know that the financial system over here is in trouble, and they're saying to themselves, you know, if we make a gold-backed yuan, when the trouble comes, everybody's going to turn to our currency because our currency is backed by something. They got plans. They call it their manifest destiny. They want to take over. This is why they set up all these banks. They've set up a bank that imitates the World Bank. They set up another bank. They got these banks all set up and everything. They were setting those up for quite a while now. They got them all established and everything. And they got a system that mimics the SWIFT system. They're ready to go with this whole thing, by the way. They're not our friends. They actually want us to be they want to switch positions. They want to be the consumer, and they want us to be the factory slaves, the sweatshop. They want us to work in the sweatshops, making the products so that they can enjoy the world reserve currency. See, once you get a world reserve currency, if they can take over and the yuan becomes a world reserve currency, then they can print unlimited amounts of yuan. And they can spend it over here. And our currency won't be worth anything. This is their plan. Ingenious plan that the Chinese have with this new Chinese gold standard. And they don't care. If there's a few, if they switch over and say they reprice gold overnight, they could do it. I mean, who's going to stop them? I mean, if they reprice gold overnight, and they just basically, they'll just say, go ahead and arbitrage on it. Go ahead. Because you ain't got any. Or very little. All the vaults are empty over here. I don't buy into this whole stuff about Grand Canyon gold and all this. I want to see it. The gold in Fort Knox, I want to see it. They say there's only one guy that saw the gold in Fort Knox, and that's Steve Munchkin. Munchkin, or I have a problem pronouncing his name, you know, the Treasury Secretary or whatever. He supposedly went in and saw it. But we all got to take his word for it? He could have been looking at a whole big pile of tungsten bars, spray painted with gold dust paint. And he wouldn't know any different. They probably had never let him in to touch some. And they expect us all to take his word for it. And they say they got like, what, 8,000 tons? I don't believe they got any. I think they've emptied the vaults out a long time ago. You know, they've sold the Queen's gold too. I remember when they sold it, something like 1,500 tons. That's what dropped the price down. Remember the price was up $1,900? Well, they used that gold. They did what's called rehypothecation, where basically what it amounts to is they do what's called gold leasing. These big shots that are in charge over the Queen's gold and in charge over all the gold in these different countries that's in these vaults, they say, well, it would be better for our interests to go ahead and lease it out on the market, and then we'll buy it back at a future date for a cheaper price. And that way we don't have to pay storage costs or anything else. This is how the plan basically works. But what they really have in mind is they know they're going to be in office for 4 years, 8 years, whatever. These politicians that are in charge of the gold, they know how long they're going to be in office. And they know that the leasing will expire after they're gone. And they know as soon as they sell that gold into the market, they're going to get a big, huge lump of money that they have charge over. So where does the gold go? Well, they lease the gold out, and the Chinese buy it all up. Do you think that the Chinese are going to give it back to you once they've got it? What a bunch of dummies we've put in office. Stupids. The Chinese are never going to give the gold back. And the Chinese will, though. Say the gold that they leased out from England or whatever, you know. The Queen's bars, I think they weigh like 400 ounces or something each. Great big heavy bars. Chinese have bought them all up, re-smelted them down into 1 kilogram sized bars and put them away for themselves. So when it comes time, the lease agreement expires on gold, this rehypothecated gold, and it's time by the lease agreement that they have to buy it back by law. The Chinese are going to rub their hands together and they say, you guys got to buy this gold back, and you've got a printing press. Let's see, and we get to set the price that you're going to have to pay. And you got a printing press. And you can print unlimited amounts of money, and you have to buy this back. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think you're going to get it for less than the price you sold it for? You got to be crazy. So what happens to the British pound or whatever if they got to buy this gold back and they got a printing press and the Chinese got the gold? What do you think that's going to do to the price of the pound? And what do you think it's going to do to the price of gold? I mean, we're sitting in a precarious position in this system. the way everything has been set up is set up to take everything down. We're going to go through a period of turmoil like nobody's ever seen before. On the other side of this turmoil is probably going to come a system that's run on blockchain technologies. Now, what exactly that means, I'm not exactly sure yet because we haven't got there yet. Most probably the coins we already have because they have first mover advantage. But not necessarily. It depends on how successful the government would be at promoting and releasing their own coins, their own digital coins, probably an imitation of the dollar. They might even call them dollars, but they'll be digital dollars. And basically what it amounts to is they come along and they tell you, hey, you know what? You got to turn in all of your bank account, all your old dollars for the new digital dollars. It's probably not going to be at a 1-to-1 ratio. So when you turn in one of your old dollars, you get one digital dollar? Probably not. It's probably going to be maybe 4-to-1 or 2-to-1 or 10-to-1 or goodness knows 100-to-1. I don't know. But it's probably going to be, you're probably going to turn in a lot of your dollars and you're going to get these new digital dollars. And I suspect, I'll tell you what I suspect is going to happen. I suspect that these new digital dollars are going to have a good buying power at first. But basically what it's going to amount to is the new digital dollars is just going to be more of the same old fiat. They're probably going to have to unlimit the amount of supply that they can create of them in order to make them work. And so they're not Bitcoin, not by any means. Bitcoin has a hard limit. There's probably going to be no hard limit to these digital dollars, meaning they can create just like regular dollars. They'll be able to create as many as they want. Okay? And so they'll probably go up on the exchanges against the other cryptocurrencies. And basically what we're talking about here is the new dollar being an altcoin. Like the petro. It probably won't fare any better than, say, one of these lesser altcoins. Tether, maybe. You know what I mean? It's just the whole thing. It's just a mess. Anyway, I'm getting rambling on here a little bit. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate my subscriber base. You guys are really great, and I'm going to try to keep breaking these news stories for you guys as soon as they come out, and try to stay ahead of this. Basically, what I think started is a giant snowball rolling down a hill. It's going to get bigger and stronger and harder all the time it rolls. And I think it's been going for a couple months now. But it's been not so noticeable. It's just starting to get noticeable now. But soon it's going to be the only story in the news. It's going to dominate the news. And this is because this thing's going to be massive. A world collapse of the entire financial system of the entire world. Just try to sit back for a second and soak that in. You know, what that means for you, what it means for your family, what you need to do to prepare for this. Ultimately, in the end, you're going to have to get divested of the dollar. If you wait long enough, you'll have to buy Fed coins, some sort of new dollar coin or whatever. And you're going to take a beating on that, an awful beating. In fact, I mean, by that time, to invest yourself in gold or silver is probably going to be too late. You'll probably be able to buy a little bit, but it's going to be only a fraction of what you could buy now. A very small fraction. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.